Hey everybody, hope you guys are well today. And thanks for joining me on the Quran Reading Time by Beau. This is going to be a part 2 of Sura 4, Women. Part 2, starting at verse 48, and I'm going to do one before that. So I'm going to read one verse before verse 48 to start. You might ask, Beau, why are you reading the Quran? Well, I grew up kind of very secular progressive out in California where I didn't really read I wasn't around a lot of religious books other than kind of meditation books, I must say, like kind of that kind of thing, maybe kind of Indian guru books and stuff like that. But I wasn't around, the big three for sure. I never read the Hebrew Bible, never was around it, never read the New Testament of Christianity, never read the Quran of Islam. So, I've always picked up the Quran and read it over the years, but I felt like I should do like a really thorough reading of it. And because it's always great to go to the source. I just believe so strongly that, you got to go to the source. I was just listening to Tucker Carlson today, and he had an interview with someone who, like a nun or like a priest or someone who was in Palestine, and he kind of was talking about his experience and things like that. And that's great. That's very anecdotal. It's one person's experience, and it could be other people's experience as well. And then you could do an interview and flip it the other way. And I'm sure you have experiences with people who have totally, completely different point of view, different story. So sometimes when you just read someone's story, you don't really get the real root of it. You got to go to the source. And unfortunately, too many of us are listening to too many people, meaning we're kind of on these podcasts all the time. And we're just getting anecdotal all the time, just storytelling. And we tend to think that is universal. It's just not the case. Your story isn't universal either. But if we go to the sources, we can see why people do what they do. What they're believing, and belief does matter. Whether you're secular progressive, like I was growing up, very atheistic, or whether you have some, deity in your life and you're holding to it. So anyway, that's a short of why I'm reading the Quran. Hope you guys enjoy it. Part 2, the women. Starting at verse 47, I'll back up one from verse 48. O you to whom the book has been given, believe in what we have revealed, confirming what you have before we destroy faces so that to turn them around or curse them as we curse the Sabbath breakers or the Jews. The commandment of Allah is always carried out. Okay. And So it says, indeed, Allah does not forgive that a partner be ascribed to him. He forgives all except that of whom he wills. Whoever ascribes partners to Allah has indeed invented a tremendous sin. Okay. Haven't you seen those who practice or praise themselves for their purity? No, Allah purifies those whom he wills, and they will not be wronged, even to the extent of the hair upon a date stone. See how they invent lies about Allah, that in itself is fragrant sin. Haven't you seen those to whom a portion of the book has been given, how they believe in Jibit and Tahat, and how they say of those who disbelieve, these people are more rightly guided than those who believe. Now this word Jibit is often translated idols. But this is a consensus in Islamic tradition which has been established only by conjecture. Okay, so those people are the ones Allah has cursed, and he whom Allah has cursed, you will find no helper for him. So like I've said before, just in reading of the Quran, just a straight reading like I'm doing, just reading through it, really, you're right? You really see that most of this book is about going to hell, cursing, punishment. I mean, every now and then we get some really cool things. Hey, give to those of your brothers and sisters, and help out this and help out that, and be kind and be affectionate, and Allah's all merciful. But man, the dominant thread through it definitely like 60% or more is definitely a real, just bam, you're going to get it kind of thing. Those people are the ones Allah has cursed, and he whom Allah has cursed, you will find no helper for him. So if you're cursed by Allah, of course, there's no how many good works can you do? Even in Islam, how many good works can you do to really appease Allah? He will get, it's up to his will, whether you're in or not. Can you really obey all of Sharia law properly? Or have they even a share in the dominion? In that case, they would not give mankind even the speck of a date stone. Or are they jealous of mankind because of what Allah has bestowed upon them out of his bounty? For we bestowed upon the family of Abraham the book and wisdom, and we gave them a mighty kingdom. So this is, again, affirmation of the Torah. And so it sounds like the Torah is right on, right? Which is very interesting, because the Torah is about what? Messiah, the need for reconciliation with the deity. And that's going to come through a son. That's the weird part, right? That's the whole Torah in a nutshell, is it's going to come through a son, through a line, through a people. And of course, Abraham, the father of many, right? That's what his name means. So it says, and among them were those who believe in it, and among them were those who turned away from it. Gehenna is sufficient for burning. Ooh, so that's a new one today. Gehenna is sufficient for burning. So that's kind of a new way. Again, like I've pointed out in the Quran, it seems like every reading there's a new way to kind of inflict pain. It just has another way of saying it. So this one's Gehenna is sufficient for burning. On the last reading, I had a phrase that made me remember the last reading, and that was, if you boast, you will roast, because it talked about roasting in the fire. Yikes. And so it says, indeed, those who disbelieve our signs, we will expose them to the fire. As often as their skins are burned up, we will exchange them for fresh skins, so that they may taste the torment. Indeed, Allah is ever mighty wise. I'm sorry I'm laughing. I'm busting up a little bit, because it's just, man, it is over and over, isn't it? It just keeps going. I mean, this is definitely burning in the fire. It definitely feels like, kind of a horror movie kind of vibe, B-movie kind of thing. And as for those who believe and do good works, we will make them enter gardens under which rivers flow. So that seems to be, for those who believe in Allah and his messenger, they always will enter the garden under which river flows. But we've already got the kind of, if, God, Allah allows it, right? If it is the will of Allah, to remain in them forever. They are pure companions for them, and we will make them enter abundant shade. Indeed, Allah commands that you restore deposits to their owners. Okay, and if you judge between people, that you judge justly. So we see some, again, legal laws in the Quran. Indeed, this admonition that Allah gives you is excellent. Indeed, Allah is ever the hearer, the seer. And we kind of hear that a lot. O you who believe, obey Allah and obey the messenger, and those of you who are in authority, and if you have a dispute concerning any matter, refer it to Allah and the messenger. If you believe in Allah and the last day, that is better and more fitting in the end. So it'd be better and fitting for you to believe in Allah and believe in his messenger Muhammad. Haven't you seen those who pretend that they believe in what is revealed to you and what was revealed before you? How they would go for judgment to Tahut when they have been ordered to renounce them. Satan would mislead them far astray. And when it is said to them, come to what Allah has revealed and to the messenger, you see the hypocrites turn from you with aversion. How would it be if a misfortune struck them because of what their own hands have sent before? When would they come to you, swearing by Allah that they were seeking nothing but harmony and kindness. Those are the ones whom Allah knows the secrets of their hearts. So oppose them and warn them and speak to them in plain terms about their souls. So it seems like those that are coming to Muhammad to kind of manipulate, there's kind of going to be a revelation to them, a judgment on them. We sent no messenger except that he should be obeyed by Allah's permission. And if, when they had wronged themselves, they had only come to you and asked forgiveness of Allah and asked forgiveness of the messenger, they would have found Allah forgiving and merciful. So, hey, if you ask for forgiveness to Allah and, of course, his messenger, Muhammad, then you're all good to go. But no, by your Lord, they will not believe until they make you judge of what is in dispute between them and find within themselves no dislike of what you decide and submit with full submission. So the idea is submitting with full submission, Islam, right? And if we had decreed for them, kill yourselves or migrate from your homes, only a few of them would have done it. Although if they did what they are exhorted to do, it would be better for them and more strengthening. So that's kind of idea, right? To kill yourself. So it's kind of an interesting passage. I'm sure there's a bunch of commentaries on this one, right? Kill yourself or migrate from your homes. Only a few of them would have done it. Although if they did what they are exhorted to do, and I take that's kill yourself, then it would be better for them and more strengthening, to take your life, to sacrifice your life, and when we would give them an immense reward for our presence. So if this is talking about, like taking your life and it would be better for you, I could see why people might do that, in the quote faith of Islam, to take your life, to use it as a sacrifice, for the purpose of Allah, I take maybe. And it says, and then we would give them an immense reward from our presence. Interesting. And would guide them to a straight path. Whoever obeys Allah and the messenger, they are with those to whom Allah has shown favor. The prophets and the saints and the martyrs and the righteous, they are the best of company. So it seems like it is talking about, kind of the sacrifice of your life. That is bounty from Allah, and Allah is sufficient as the knower. O you who believe, take your precautions, then advance the proven ones or advance all together. Again, I always ask, what would a world look like if you believed in the source material? What would a society be? What would a family be like? If you really held to the source. If you really believe Jesus is the Messiah, the Son of the living God, then do you believe what he taught? Do you teach that in your family, in your society, in your culture? Or do you teach this, or do you teach this? If there is no neutral, either you're taking a philosopher like Jean-Paul Sartre, or name your other philosopher, and you're bringing that secular kind of atheistic, philosophy into fruition, into a society, or you're taking a religious source, like the Quran, and you're bringing that into a society. What is it like? What would it be like? What if it was true that you sacrificing and war was a way of purity? What would war against the unbelievers was a way of purity, or sacrificing your body? Man, that would be interesting, right? Maybe that's how our world is in some places and in some people's minds. They are the best. Okay. O you who believe, take your precautions, then advance the proven ones, or advance all together. Okay. Indeed, among you, there is he who lags behind, and if disaster overtook you, he would say, Allah has been gracious to me since I was not present with them. And if a bounty from Allah came to you, he would surely cry as if there had been no love between you and him. Oh, if only I had been with them, then would I have achieved great success. Let those who sell the life of this world for the next fight in the way of Allah. Whoever fights in the way of Allah, whether he is killed or victorious, on him he will bestow a great reward. Okay, so this is just the idea of fighting, right? A tenacity in fighting. You are going to gain a reward. He will gain victory. Allah will help you to the possessions. He will give you the possessions. We've already seen like the women as well. We've already seen that in the surah in 424. So if you go to war and you win women, that's cool. If you're killed, you gain great paradise. So it's good, man. Go for it. The sacrifice of your life. It's kind of different from Christianity, right? That the Messiah, or Judaism, that the idea is that the Messiah is the one who lays down his life for you. That's the idea, right? The one who takes your sin and he bears it. He is the Messiah. He is the Lamb of God that takes away the sin of the world, the fulfillment of the book of Leviticus and the book of Exodus. This is what those books are about. It's the idea of the Messiah. He's going to remedy the distance between us and the deity and God. So this is a little different in that you sacrifice your own life. And if you sacrifice your own life, then you definitely be on the right track. So you could see that if you believe this again, you might have some reckless abandon to kill yourself, in the name of Allah, to sacrifice yourself in that way. So pretty interesting. And how would you not fight for the sake of Allah and for the weak among men and the women and the children who are crying, "O Lord, bring us forth from out of this town where the people are oppressors. Oh, give us some protecting friend from your presence. Oh, give us from your presence some defender." So you definitely get the idea that the early Muslims were very much maybe being persecuted or people were going against them. That's what I'm kind of thinking here. Those who believe fight for the sake of Allah, and those who disbelieve fight for the cause of Tahat. So fight the minions of Satan. Indeed, Satan's strategy is always weak. Haven't you seen those to whom it was said, "Withhold your hands, establish prayer, and give alms"? But when fighting was prescribed for them, look, a party of them fear mankind even as much as they fear Allah, or with greater fear. They say, "Our Lord, why have you ordained fighting for us? If only you would give us respite for a while. Say, the comfort of this world is fleeting, and hereafter will be better for him who fears Allah. And you will not be wronged, even to the extent of the down upon a date stone." Okay, there's a date stone 3 times mentioned. "Whenever you may be, death will overtake you, even if you are in high towers. Yet if they experience something good, they say, 'This is from Allah.' And if an evil thing happens to them, they say, 'This is of your doing.' Say, 'All is from Allah.' What is wrong with these people that they do not come near in order to understand an event? Whatever good happens to you, it is from Allah, and whatever evil happens to you, it is from yourself. We have sent you a messenger to mankind, and Allah is sufficient as a witness." So just like other groups, right, there's always the messenger, the person who's got the new revelation, and he's got the new thing. That's always seems like how it rolls, right? So this is very much no different from other groups that kind of are offshoots of Judaism and Christianity. "Whoever obeys the messenger has obeyed Allah, and whoever turns away, we have not sent you as a guardian over them. And they say obedience, but when they have departed from you, some of them spend the night in planning something other than what you say. Allah records that what they plan by night." So Allah has a recording of everything. "So oppose them and put your trust in Allah. Allah is sufficient as the one whom one trusts." So if you put your trust in Allah, you're going to be protected from those people that are persecuting you. "Will they not then ponder on the Quran? If it had been from anyone other than Allah, they would have found much discrepancy with it." Interesting. So there is a lot of discrepancy in the Quran already. A lot of things to kind of sift through. It's definitely ideas of the Bible, and it's quoting of biblical stories and people and events, chronology is very suspect. And so it's kind of interesting that it says, if it had been from anyone other than Allah, they would have found much discrepancy with it. It's interesting. And if any news, whether of safety or fear, come to them, they spread it all over. Yet if they have referred it to the messenger and to those who are in authority, those among them who are able to think out the matter would have known it. If it had not been for the grace of Allah upon you and his mercy, you would have followed Satan, except for a few. So, man, you got to love that section where it talks about grace, the grace of Allah, the gift of Allah, right? His grace and his mercy on the believers. So fight in the way of Allah. You are not burdened except with yourself, and urge the believers on. So the whole idea of God's or Allah's grace is in the context of standing up against the enemy, right? He will gift you in that way to lay down your life. And perhaps Allah will restrain the mighty of those who disbelieve. Allah is stronger in might and stronger in inflicting punishment. Again, that punishment comes out. Okay, so I'm going to end there on verse 85. That was a lot, man. I finished 84. So, but already, man, that was an intense beginning, right? Boy, there was a lot of fire and stuff going on. But you see, it's kind of moved away from women, and it's kind of gotten into kind of the sacrifice in war. And it seems like that's a way to get into heaven in Islam. A way to go in there is to fight and to lay down your life and sacrifice your life. Take it, take your life and give it to Allah in some kind of sacrifice. And Allah will be well pleased. So it's a system that, would definitely, the idea of using your child or using your kids or your teenagers to go to war wouldn't be such a bad thing, because that's certainly how you get into heaven. And so you could definitely see how reading those passages could really, move you to some, from our perspective, from the United States' perspective, that isn't around the Quran much. It would be a very interesting perspective, to put your family, relatives in that kind of harm's way. So, for the sake of being pure, for the sake of that's how you get into heaven, that is how you enter, in a sense, the pearly gates of Allah, is through this kind of purification in war or sacrificing your body. So again, very interesting for sure. So as always, thanks for joining me on today's reading. Take care. Bye-bye.